Artemis 1. Gene Cernan left the moon in December 1972. It took humanity 50 years to try again. NASA had never flown anything like it before. In November 2022, Artemis 1 launched. No crew, no landing, just a test to find out if the hardware could survive the journey. Riding the Space Launch System, the most powerful rocket NASA had ever flown, generating roughly 8.8 million pounds of thrust at liftoff, it sent an uncrewed Orion capsule nearly 270,000 miles from Earth, farther than any human-rated spacecraft had ever traveled, beating the distance record Apollo 13 set by accident back in 1970. After looping through a distant orbit around the moon, Orion came home for the real test, a re-entry at roughly 25,000 miles per hour, hot enough to push the heat shield past 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The shield held, but not perfectly. Engineers later found the ablative material had charred and cracked unevenly, losing more material in some spots than predicted. The data it sent back would quietly reshape every flight plan after it. Artemis 2. 3 scrubs, a hydrogen leak, a helium pressurization problem, and a wet dress rehearsal that had to be completely redone. When Artemis 2 finally launched on April 1, 2026, it carried the first crew of the program: Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Cook, and Canada's Jeremy Hansen. Glover became the first person of color to fly toward the moon. Cook had already set the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman. Hansen became the first non-American ever to make that journey. Over a 10-day free return trajectory, using the adjusted flight path Artemis 1's data had made necessary, the crew never entered lunar orbit and never landed. The entire point was proving Orion's life support, navigation, and communication systems could hold up with humans actually on board. They splashed down on April 10th off the coast of California, hauled out of the Pacific by a Navy recovery ship almost exactly the way Apollo capsules came home half a century earlier. It was the first time anyone had flown near the moon since 1972, and the first proof that Orion could bring a crew safely back. Artemis 3. For years, Artemis 3 had one job: land. Boots on the South Pole, the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. Then, in February 2026, NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman scrapped that plan entirely. Artemis 3 is now staying in Earth orbit. Instead of landing, a crew will fly Orion to rendezvous and physically dock with one or both of the commercial human landing systems under development, SpaceX's Starship and Blue Origin's Blue Moon, practicing the exact approach, capture, and docking sequence a real lunar landing will require, all without ever leaving the safety of Earth orbit. They'll also test the new lunar spacesuits being developed by NASA's commercial partner Axiom Space, the same suits a future crew will actually wear on the surface. It's a deliberate extra step, and if it sounds familiar, it should. It's the same logic NASA used with Apollo 9 and 10, building confidence through a dress rehearsal before risking an actual landing. NASA is targeting a launch around mid-2027. Artemis 4. 56 years. That's how long it will have been since the last human walked on the moon when Artemis 4 launches. No earlier than 2028. The target is the lunar South Pole, a region NASA has never explored and believes holds significant deposits of water ice locked in permanently shadowed craters that never see sunlight, a resource future missions hope to use for drinking water, breathable oxygen, and even rocket fuel, which would make every mission after it dramatically cheaper to support. The crew will use whichever commercial lander, SpaceX's or Blue Origin's, is ready first. As part of the same overhaul that demoted Artemis 3, NASA canceled the more powerful, upgraded SLS rocket variant this mission was originally going to debut, opting instead for a standardized upper stage to keep the schedule moving. If it goes as planned, it will be the most significant spaceflight since 1969. When Gene Cernan stepped off the lunar surface in 1972, he said, "We shall return." Artemis 4 is that promise. 56 years late, on a different rocket, with a different crew, and a completely different political landscape, but the same moon. Artemis 5. 2 companies, 2 landers, 1 flight slot each. That's Artemis 5, a second landing also targeted for 2028, intended to fly later the same year as Artemis 4, a pace this program has never come close to before. If both commercial landers are ready, SpaceX gets one mission and Blue Origin gets the other. If only one is ready, it flies both. Having two competitors in play is a deliberate hedge. If either falls behind schedule, the other keeps the landings on track. It's also the closest thing the moon program has had to a race since the 1960s. Except this time, both sides are working for NASA. For context, Apollo flew 7 landing missions in 3.5 years. If Artemis 4 and 5 both launch in 2028, it'll be the first time since the 1960s that NASA has landed on the moon twice in 12 months. What happens after Artemis 5? Here's the honest answer. Nobody at NASA has said publicly with a mission number attached. The Lunar Gateway space station, once central to every Artemis mission from 3 onward, already backed by roughly $4.4 billion in contracts, has been paused. NASA is pivoting instead toward a surface-based outpost projected to cost roughly $20 billion over the next 7 years. The bigger SLS upper stage and a second mobile launcher have both been cancelled. The Space Launch System itself is only funded through Artemis 5. NASA has rewritten this program twice in 5 years. Whether anything flies past Artemis 5 and on what rocket is genuinely unknown. Apollo had a finish line. Artemis, so far, has a question mark, even to NASA. Which approach do you think actually gets boots back on the moon faster? This rebuild plan or yet another shakeup? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to know how it ends, subscribe. NASA hasn't decided yet, and neither have we.